Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, this time featuring a Boros burn deck. A few weeks ago I played a Taii Wakeen perfect shot historic brawl video, had a lot of fun, very powerful deck, and I thought we've got Taii Wakeen and we do have Phoenixes in standard, so why not create a Wakeen Phoenix deck, creating a deck purely based on a joke. Well, sure to go well, and this is that deck. The Phoenix I've picked is Bloodfeather Phoenix. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with flying. It can't block, and it says whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to an opponent or battle, you may pay a red mana. If you do, return it from the graveyard to your battlefield. It gains haste at the end of turn. So while it can't block and we don't have any discard outlets, getting it in the graveyard is not the easiest, apart from your opponent's taking it out. But once you do, a lot of our spells can deal damage to the opponent or do deal damage to the opponent. So it's a great recursive threat. And while 2/2 is not the biggest, it soon adds up, especially if it, say, gets a counter from Tremolo. So let's quickly go through the rest of the deck. End of Festivities and Tectonic Hazard, they are fundamentally the same. They are 1 mana to deal 1 damage to each opponent, each creature they control. This is a great combo with Taii Wakeen because you can pump them up for a very small amount of mana to kill smaller creatures and get that draw trigger from Taii Wakeen. And it does deal damage to the opponent, so it does trigger Bloodfeather Phoenix as well. Commanding faces Kakazan, 1 mana. It deals with a Saga, and its first counter deals 1 damage to each opponent and each Planeswalker they control. This is not an instant or sorcery, so it wouldn't trigger Bloodfeather Phoenix, but it would get the buff from Taii Wakeen. Second one is when you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature ETBs with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. And then the third one, exile it and return to battlefield transformed as Etching of Kamanu, a 2/2 with haste, and if a creature dealt damage this turn by a source you controlled would die, exile it instead. So it's a great way just to remove maybe some recursive threats, such as the black and green 3/2, the one with adventure. I can't remember the name of it right now. I will remember it and I'll put the card on screen. We also have Monastery Swift Spirit, 1 mana 1/2 with haste and prowess. Play with fire, 1 mana deals 2 to anything, and if you target a player with it, you scry. The Phoenix, I've said, Kessig Flame Breather, very, very powerful with Taii Wakeen. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, which we have a lot of non-creature spells, it does 1 damage to any opponent. A great way to get an extra damage with Taii Wakeen, because whenever the amount you put in will buff the Flame Breather. Lightning Strike, deal 320 target. Lightning Helix, deal 320 target, and you gain 3 life. And finally, Mechanized Warfare. If a red or artifact source you control will deal damage to an opponent or permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +1 instead. So now your play with fires are doing 3, not 2. So this is a very powerful deck, and it was very powerful when I played Taii Wakeen. And just Taii Wakeen does say it's a 2 mana 2/3, so pretty good stats. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to a creature equal to that creature's toughness, draw a card. So if you take out something with 2 toughness with player fire, you draw a card. There's no limit on it as well. If you end the festivities and take out 4 1/1s, you will get 4 card draws. And then you can pay X and Tapper. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage for permanent or per player this turn, it deals that much damage +X. So if you put 2 into this, for example, let's say you got Kessig Flame Breather down, you put 2 into this and you cast Flame with a player fire twice. Player fire will deal 2 +2 from Taii Wakeen, so that's 4, +1 from the Flame Breather, +2 from Taii Wakeen, so that's 7 just from one spell. If you have another player fire, that's another 7. That's where you get the power from. It can very quickly kill your opponent. Mana base, 1 Arganjo, 1 Sir Kenzin, 4 Inspiring Advantage. We have a low curve, so we want to get these into play untapped. And then Sundown Pass if we draw them later on. A Battlefield Forge, it does deal damage to us, which is only why we've only got 1 Restless Bivouac as a creature land, and then 1 plains and 9 mountains. Obviously the only white mana we need is Taii Wakeen and Lightning Helix, which is why we only have 1 plains. We need that red, especially multiple red, to multicast spells. So that's the deck. I hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in my gameplay. There's a pretty good hand. It's a pretty much a mono red hand. Kessig Flamebreather is always powerful, and if we draw into Taii Wakeen, I think this could kill the opponent quite quickly. We would need a white land for that. But we can turn 1 Swift Spear, turn 2 Swift Spear, and play with fire. Actually, I'm going to play Kamanu. I do quite like having like a Swift Spear come down as a 2/3, and that way, well, we'll see what they take. Logically, it'll be the play with fire. Otherwise, we can just get back whatever they do take. Yeah. We do need the white mana for Lightning Helix. I'm expecting they've got, yeah. It's going to be a removal heavy deck. Well, we hit the land. It is tapped though. But we can get down the Flame Breather. Well, that's a bit of an issue. Well, let's get down Taii Wakeen. And maybe we can take out Sheoldred with the Lightning Helix. We might have to take out that if they're going for the combo. So what I think we do, I think we've got to take out the Bloodfeather. Buff this by 1. We draw a card. Another mountain's not really what we're looking for. We need another removal spell so we can take out Sheoldred. They're still at 21, which is a massive issue because we have been burning them out as well. I took out a Bloodletter there because if they had the 5th land and they had Rush of Dread, that's also going to be an issue. Are they taking out Taii Wakeen? I would have taken out Taii Wakeen myself, but I think we are in serious trouble. Yeah, I think maybe taking out Bloodletter was the wrong choice, but if I had Rush of Dread, we would have just been dead anyway. It's not the fastest hand, but we do have some removal. And the Flame Breather, and we do go first. Maybe they're on the Dino Ramp deck. Or maybe just a deserts deck, even though Glimpse of Core gets caves, not deserts. They're ramping quite a lot. Let's channel that to get a couple of 1/1s. So we have 6 damage in hand with Lightning Strike and End Festivities. And then 9. So we're not too far away from lethal. And I'll take out their familiar. So this will hit him down to 6. So as long as the Flame Breather survives... Sorry, Dex down to 5. As long as the Flame Breather survives, we have lethal. Well, we have lethal as long as the Flame Breather... the Phoenix survives as well. Because we have 4 in hand with Lightning Strike. And as long as one of our creatures gets in then... Well, let's discard a forest. I think their deck's just been far too slow. I reckon they have Smuggler's Surprise. So let's swing in. And then break their hearts. Yeah. I've played Smuggler's Surprise enough to know when it's coming. When you suspiciously have 6 or more lands up. So it'd be interesting to see what they put in. If it was Bauble and Tyrant, obviously it would have gained some life. And if it had multiple, they would have gained a lot of life. So that's why we held off casting Lightning Strike until after they did it. And if they didn't cast anything, they would have been dead on board anyway. So a good result. We have an okay hand. Get a Flame Breather down on turn 2 and I'll get a token from Kumano. Or maybe get down Taii Wakeen. Make it a 3/4, puts out of the range of cut down and makes it a harder creature to get through. Opponent having to think about what to do. So up against a black deck by the looks of it, so I imagine this will get removed. But if it doesn't, we can start again in with, say, play with fire, lightning, helix. Hopefully, play a creature. And hopefully, we draw a land so we could double spell Kessid Flame Breather and Kumano. Our opponent is taking their time. Maybe they've DC'd. Or maybe they kept a 1-lander and haven't drawn into a second land and this is them just... Oh, there we go. Yep. As always, not sure why it took them that long. But now we can get the Flame Breather down. get the commando down to ping them for 1. And swing in. We can play with fire the Nezumi Road Captain. That'll probably be a better one to play with fire. And technically we can remove both of them. Let's swing in, see what they do. Obviously we kill the underdog, it will be exiled with the etching. Which means they can't bring it back. Maybe our opponent just has a bad connection and things that has taken a while. I'll take out the underdog then. And keep up the lightning helix for if they play a bigger threat. I'm not too worried about a 2-2. So next turn we'll have 5, 8, 9 damage, assuming we put lightning helix to face. But drawing a payable card would be good. We don't need any more land. Well, that's a bigger clock. But we are at 18, so we're in a good place. And obviously with the lightning helix, we'll be up to essentially 21. I'm going to take it out. Puts us up to 21. That's not what we wanted to see. And we can't get through. But hopefully, maybe they kill themselves. Well, lightning strike's a good draw. Let's swing in, see what they do. I imagine that blocks something with the underdog, at which point I can remove that again, or remove another underdog. I'm fine with that. we're probably going to have to take out the underdog if it attacks here. Which it doesn't. Let's see what we draw. The play with fire will do it. Assuming no additional removal. That's not it. So the Archfiend will attack, put us down to 1. If the underdog attacks, we can obviously remove it. Fair enough. So essentially, if it gets back round to their turn, they lose. If they remove one of our creatures, we die. Looks like we're getting there. Yeah. They only had one removal spell, which they used on Taii Wakeen. Which was unfortunate for us, but we got there in the end. They would have died at the beginning of the next turn when the Archfiend lost that last oil counter. So I think that Lightning Helix, which put us up to 21, was key there. So a really good result. Kamano into Taii Wakeen. Let's see if we're playing a black deck that has removal on turn 2 again. But if not, End Festivity Tectonic Hazard with Taii Wakeen can take out a lot of things. Draw us some cards. It looks like we're up against the exact same deck. Let's get rid of Mechanized Warfare. But I think whatever we play is going to get removed. I'm going to play out the Phoenix. Hopefully we draw a red land. That's not a red land. We're falling behind massively. let's end the festivities. See if we can draw that land. We can. We'll play out Kamanu and get in with our Phoenix. If we draw a land and Wakeen survives, which is not always likely, we can remove Sheoldred with a lightning strike, but we need a land. So we will 2 and then lightning strike the Sheoldred. That's a very good draw. Right, let's work this out. We can pay 1 and tap Wakeen, Lightning Helix the Henrika, and then Tectonic Hazard. Let's do that. Right, we're going to need to get down the Swift Spear to block. And I'll get down the man who faces Kakazan. If they've got removal for our Swift Spear, then that's it. Clear their board, kill them. Oh, that was close. If they just had removal, or even say like a cut down in their graveyard, they could have cast it with Kervak at the end, taken out the Swift Spear, and then got him for lethal. So a bit lucky, but we got there in the end. And we almost saw the Phoenix coming back as well. We didn't have the mana for it. We're on the play. As it stands, we can't get Wakeen down on turn 2, but that may not be much of an issue. And then we get down the Swift Spear, and then turn 2, keep up play with fire. Maybe against mono red. Yep. Well, we'll get down the sun down past now. I'll get down the tap land, get down the Taii Wakeen. I think they're going to get in for a big hit with something. And then I think we play with fire to scry. Well, that's the code breaker. Skip another play with fire. We are massively behind. It's another code breaker. Don't need that. Could have activated the creature land there. A third code breaker by the looks of it. But I think we are pretty much done. Oh, maybe not. This will clear a couple of their creatures. They should have turned it up first because it had prowess. But yeah, we didn't get off to a fast start as they did. Well, we have removal. No white mana for Lightning Helix, so I think this is probably a mulligan. This is better. We'll put back the Flame Breather and play this essentially as mono red prowess. I'll play Kamano. I do like having a Swift Spear come down as a 2/3. Interesting to see what they take. So next turn we can get back our other Swift Spear. We're going to have to lightning strike the Voice of the Blessed. It looks like they have removal. Amalia has walled. Pay 3 life. I'm not too fussed about that. So we will end the festivities. And then swing in and see what they do. Clear their board. Unless they've got a Sunfall, which they might do, we have lethal. I suppose they can gain life with the food token, but we should still have lethal. They're up to 6.
And I will protect my people.
But we should have enough, assuming they exile something. Yeah. We should still have enough though. There we are. Pretty straightforward game. And a good result for us in the end. Hello Magic fans and welcome back to the wrap up. We played 10 games with this deck and with a 50% win rate, so right down the middle. And to be honest, obviously this deck was just meant to be a bit of a joke and play on the name Joaquin Phoenix. So I was expecting it to be powerful, but it could have been. The Phoenix didn't do anything. I don't think we ever actually got it back from the graveyard once. We would have done it once, but our opponent scooped just I think the trigger's about to go on the stack. If you wanted to do it, probably play Phoenix Hatchling just for another hasty 1-1 to get in more damage. But you probably play something like the Red Virtue, which doubles damage done by your red permanents as well. So yeah, a fun deck, an interesting deck. Taii Wakeen can be very powerful, especially when you have, say, a Kessig Flamebreather, Taii Wakeen, and then a couple of 1-mana spells. You know, you have 4 mana, put 2 mana in a Taii Wakeen, play a couple of Play with Fires, and you're doing 14 damage, or you're wiping their board with a Tectonic Hazard or End of Festivities. But apart from that, it's just a pretty standard Boros burn deck. But a lot of fun to play. I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed playing it. And if you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.